I'm an optimist. I believe as business leaders and the nature of businesses we have on this panel, we would like to see the economy bounce back. We'd like to bring consumer demand and customer demand both back. Farooq's business may not have consumers, but it has customers, right? Whereas the other businesses definitely have consumers. So I want to talk a little bit about what you think you are going to do to bring back that confidence. You mentioned trust. Somebody mentioned practices. Somebody said that, there's been a change because of hygiene now. Someone's buying a dishwasher, the convenience of it. But what can you really do in the next few months to stimulate demand, to create that change? And if it's not your own personal experience that you may want to talk about, what do you think other brand providers, service providers, companies should do? This is open and we'll go around with whoever wants to go first. Farooq, you're on mute. Let me unmute you.
Yeah, I think, as I said before, the big change is to embrace digital, both in terms of what you do in-house within the company, your backend, as well as how you serve your clients, customers per se. So on both ends, you have to really accelerate the use of technology, create alliances with startups, again, both for the backend as well as the front end customer serving part. That's to me is the biggest change. There are of course many others in terms of creating a resilient supply chain, cash flow management, but digital thinking of digital possibilities, digital first will be the biggest change in my mind.
All right, Neeraj.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Marketing will see a big change. We've also, in our organization, when we post-COVID, obviously every corporate came up with only one thing, the best case scenario for the balance of the year, for the worst case scenario, the real case scenario, optimistic scenario, pessimistic scenario, this scenario, that scenario. So under that, we realized one thing, that marketing, yes, will definitely take a setback, especially in the newspapers, and brands are not going to go very high on TVC, and spending huge monies. But yes, we have increased our budget by 5 times at least on digital. And digital, one, it is cheaper. Second, it is the latest fad. And third, it is easily, reachable to the consumers you want to target. So digital will definitely see a big change, and people would like to spend their monies very, very wisely on digital. That's the new thing what I definitely see in the future. And as far as demand is concerned, of course, we have to make sure that our logistics in place and our now material is properly spread, because post GST, companies had actually reduced warehouses and godowns. And, we were mostly operating from central kind of warehouses in top 3 cities like Mumbai, Chennai, and Delhi. So in COVID, we realized that, now when we immediately need material in Bangalore, it was not there. So if we need immediately material in Calcutta, we need there. So now products like, as I spoke earlier also, dishwashers and maybe front-loading washing machines and mixer grinders and so many other appliances, we have to make sure that they're widely spread in the country, because we have seen demand from tier 2, tier 3 kind of cities for even inbuilt ovens and dishwashers, just to give you a very good example, a place everybody must have heard called Nanded, which is such a small town in Maharashtra. One of our dealers has sold 78 dishwashers, wherein he has not sold 7 in his lifetime. So it was unthinkable for us to have a stock ready for a place called Nanded, 78 dishwashers. So that's an eye-opener for us. So now we'll make sure that the stock is available in Pune. So that is kind of planning will change a bit. And we are already working on that. So, and marketing will go digital big time, and channel will go online big time.
Yeah. Anybody else wants to add to that?
Yeah, let me make a few comments. So couldn't agree more that digital is going to get accelerated really, really aggressively, both on customer experience or customer interaction related digital channels, and also on the marketing / advertising channel front. But I think for us as a company, and quite likely this is true for many companies, especially on the consumer front, on the omni-channel consumer front, is that the whole notion of how our employees work, what is the definition of employee productivity, what is the new definition of their job role, and how teams need to really engage with each other to get things done, is a completely new arena. And I think this is going to get accelerated like crazy. Um, I think companies such as ourselves have already embraced agile as an approach to really make things get done, essentially by the power of small teams. But the whole definition of employee productivity is going to really be redefined. To give you an example, retail. I alluded that if you go to any store, QSR, or even if it's an apparel store, there was always this glorified cashier role. All the employees seem like junior minions doing the servicing, while there is this guy seated on a desk with a tie and basically just cutting out a bill for you, and he was the senior guy. That role is going to be completely redundant, and I hope it becomes redundant, because you need to spread the notion of job responsibility in a very, very different way now. And we are already sketching out the new customer experience for our stores. But this is really happening across the company, right from the supply chain, back end, and it's going to affect each and every part of the front end channel, be it our dispenser business, be it our online deliveries or packaged products. So employee productivity and how teams and employees work may sound like a very boring, operational, somewhat, opaque kind of a topic. But frankly, for companies, this is where the real action is going to be, because consumers are not going to know of the new way of working unless and until companies really give them an opportunity to see that. And not every company, surely a small company of our size, we are not going to be able to spend crores on a digital ad spend to give customers a view of what their interaction is going to look like. So quite likely, it's going to be built incrementally as customers start engaging with companies like us, and the word of mouth travels that, wow, this is the new experience. And that's going to be made possible through employee training and employee productivity. So I'm really quite intrigued and energized around the prospect of that.
So Vivek, there are many questions for you specific on mobility.
Okay.
But go ahead and say what you want to say.
Yeah, very quickly, probably. I mean, you spoke specifically about demand generation, but I think the need is now to take the product to the customer. I think we cannot be sitting back in our stores and in our physical locations waiting for the customers to come. Demand generation has to be at the point where the customer is. Whether we do it digitally, it's a combination of physical, digital. That clearly is a way forward. Of course, there'll be some initial demand now, immediately after the lockdown is lifted. But in terms of overall trend, we see the customers expecting things to come to them. So that really would be the challenge, and that is where we're going to focus all our technology, marketing monies, and even other infrastructure elements.